this man grabbed me, tear my top. I started running. Hey guys, good morning and welcome back to my channel. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing well wherever you are. Yes, if this is your first time stopping by and you're seeing my beautiful face for the very first time, hey, my name is Nelly and this is Nelly's View. Please do well to subscribe to my channel, click on the like button and let me know your thoughts in the comment section. So on this channel, I share a lot of my faith, my beliefs. I do a lot of cooking, okay, my family lifestyle and what have you. So please do relax and enjoy, okay? We're going to be discussing something. So I was busy around the house and I just felt the need to come here and share this with you in case anybody have experienced it or you're experiencing it or you have noticed something like this. Let's just have a discussion. So it's story time. So growing up, this thing happened like many years ago. So growing up, when I was in secondary school, there's this thing that happened to me, okay? When I was in SS3, so about writing my senior WAEC, my parents, okay, had no money to register me for the senior WAEC because then things were tough. Life was lifing, okay? So it happened that my mom told me, okay, she tried her possible best to raise the WAEC money that time. She was not able to raise it until, there's something called late entry until it got to the point where WAEC registration was now late entry. So, no, before it got to late entry, there exists my uncle. Okay, this is our house in the village, and this is this man's house in the village. He works with oil servicing company here in the city of Port Harcourt. In fact, when he was 7, okay, he stayed back in our house. My parents were like giving him transport to go to, his where he was posted, where he was serving. So he was staying in our house, eating and everything. So they had this good relationship. So now things were so difficult, and my parents after trying to raise the money, as and then how much was WAEC, to raise the money, it was looking difficult. So my mom was like, okay, that you can go and meet this your uncle. They spoke with him. He asked me to come and see if he can raise you that money. And that time, I think WAEC it wasn't, this thing I'm saying is around 2002. That was the year I wrote WAEC, 2002. I can never forget it. So in 2002, I wrote my WAEC. So they told him, I think WAEC registration then was like 3,000. So they told him, he asked me to come to his office. So my mom said, okay, they gave me transport from where we were staying to where his office was far. So they gave me transport. I got to his office on this beautiful day. The first time I got there, I was asked to wait. So I waited and I stayed there. From that morning, I went there till the close of work. He did not see me. It was the secretary that now told me that maybe I can come back tomorrow, that your uncle was, is busy and all of that. It continued. I kept on going back and forth every day. Sometimes I had to trek back home because the money they gave me was just for transport for me to get there. My mom kept on saying, just go. Maybe he will see you today. The hope of just going, maybe he will see you today. He's a busy man and all of that good stuff. So I kept on going back and forth until WAEC registration entered late entry. So there was this panic mode. It was looking like I was not going to register. And now the school where I schooled, was no longer taking any registration whatsoever because it has now entered late entry. So this particular day, I went to his office for up to a month. I was going there. So this particular day, after the secretary looked at me one day and said, I don't know why your uncle doesn't want to see you. It's not like he's busy doing anything. He keeps on telling me I should tell you that he's busy, should come tomorrow and all of that. And he should come tomorrow. He wasn't like giving me transport to come back the next day and, you know, so to say. But don't worry, just come the next day that I'll make sure he sees you. So I'm like, okay, I'm tired. Remember, all this while I've been going there, like I leave the house, maybe I had breakfast. Some days I don't have breakfast. I will stay there in his office, you know, without anything, all this while. So that day that the secretary encouraged me to come back, and my mom, on the other hand, not having any other alternative like she thought, also encouraged me to keep on going. But me, I was like tired of going because I was not doing anything. There was no result, and I'm already feeling like WAEC has entered late entry. Sometimes I see my classmates, they're telling me how they're preparing for WAEC, and I don't have, anything to say about it. So that particular day, I went again. So um, he happened to see me after the close of work. So when his secretary closed, when she was about leaving, she came to me and told me that I can go in and see my uncle. So I went into the office, and then we greeted. He was like, sorry, all this while, just that I've been busy and all of that. Okay, I was like, okay, no problem, sir. He now said, okay, you said your WAEC registration is how much again? I'm like 3,000 naira. He said 3,000. I said yes, because it has entered late entry. He said okay, 3,000. He now said, I learned you did computer because while I was at home, not after WAEC or before WAEC, there was this time I went for one of our elders in the church. Okay, saw me and asked me what was I doing after school. I said I'm doing nothing. I used to help my mom in the market. So he was like, he owned this business center, this computer training center, and he said, okay, he loves the way I am committed, in church and everything. He's always seen me around the church, that I can come to his office so that he can enroll me, place me on a scholarship to do computer. So that was how I learned computer. So, but that's the story for another day. Okay, whether I learned the computer or not, that's the story for another day. So I told him yes, I learned computer. So he was asking me questions based on, MS Word, CorelDRAW, Publisher, and all of that, Excel. I was just answering the questions. Then he now asked me if I can show him how to do a particular thing. I can't remember the particular thing he asked me. I said yes, I can do it. He now said, remember he was sitting on his chair. So he now said I should come and show him how to do this thing. So I came, like he's my uncle. He comes to the house and we relate well, we greet well. They have discussions and laugh and talk about so many things. So he's not somebody I should be afraid of, right? So I went to the desktop. It was a desktop system then. So I went to the desktop to kind of show him what he asked me to. This man grabbed me. That day I was putting on this pink, one of my best my best top so far. This pink top that has button up, top to bottom, okay, and then singlet inside, and my black skirt and my shoe. So this man grabbed me. He grabbed me. You guys. He grabbed me. In fact, to God be the glory. Before I cannot share this story to this point without me tearing up because of the pain in my heart. So he grabbed me and I was like shocked. But I didn't know where the strength came from. I just had this strength from nowhere. I pushed this man I pushed him so hard that I was able to escape, but he managed to, tear my top. All the buttons came off, but thankfully I was wearing singlet. So I zoomed off his office that evening. Remember, it was the close of work. This was happening around 5, after 5-ish, right? I zoomed out of his office. I left my shoe. Till Jesus comes, that shoe remains with him. I started running. And to make matters worse, it was raining thunders, lightning, cats and dogs on that particular day. I zoomed out and started running. I had no transport to transport me back. If you know Port Harcourt very well, this was at Transamadi. This company was at Transamadi, BJ Services to be precise. That's where my uncle worked. So for me, trekking the way from Transamadi back to where we lived at Mar 3, it's not something you wish on anybody. So I zoomed off. My heart was beating fast. I was panting. I was afraid. I was shivering. I was scared. And I started running. Do you know that I was running? Something in my head was like, this man is coming after you, so don't stop running. I kept on running. People were looking at me. My top was torn. Like, my top was torn. All the buttons, I could not find anyone to hold on to. Thankfully, I was wearing that singlet. So I was running. I kept on running. I don't know how I got home. And then I got home that night. It was already very late when I got home. And I just went inside and changed up. I was cold. I was everything. When I came back to the house, my parents had already gone for evening service in church. So they were not home. So I went in and just, put myself together, and that was it. I slept. So that was how I stopped going to my uncle's house. So after then, when my mom asked me you're not going to your uncle's office today, I said I'm no longer going. I told her that I will never go. If God does not want me to write the wire, then let it be. So my mom felt so bad. I didn't know how she raised the money to she now raised the money. When she saw that I did not say anything to her either, when she saw that I was adamant, and she also understood that I have, tried my best. So she was not looking for ways to raise the money. She managed to raise the money. Now, like I said earlier, my school had already stopped taking registrations anymore. We had to go to another school. The 3,000 I was even talking about, when we went to another school, it has added like 3,500. So that school I went to, their Port Harcourt center was full. I had to go to their village center, the school that was outside Port Harcourt. Was it outside Port Harcourt? Yes, Port Harcourt City, at Rumoji. If you know Port Harcourt very well, this was at Rumoji. They told me that is the only place that they have space. So my mom we had to pay the money for me to pack up and go. And for me to go there, I have to board. So I was now preparing to, go there. So now, like 1 week later, I did not go. Then one day, whilst we were preparing for, WAEC, for me moving down to the school, my uncle showed up one afternoon. I was inside. Now remember that I did not tell my parents anything. I did not tell my parents anything, and he did not hear anything from anybody. He just stopped seeing me and all of that. And then there was nothing like phone. I didn't have a phone. I didn't own a phone for any communication whatsoever. So one afternoon he showed up, and when he came, I was inside praying that afternoon. So my mom I think she was outside, I think doing laundry or something. My mom was a caterer, right? She was a caterer. She cooks. That is where I got my, my love for cooking from. So she was outside doing something. I was inside praying. So when he came, he was discussing with my mom. Maybe he was trying to, study the body language, how my mom would have reacted, whether I told them anything or something. So my mom now told him that I was praying so that I will soon come out. He said he came to see me. So after everything, I came out. He was still there. When I came, I greeted him. And guess what my uncle brought? He brought me this office perforated file that has papers in them. Used up papers. When you work in the office, you have a lot of papers that you have used, like typed, that you're no longer in need of. Okay, maybe documents or whatever. That you file. So that's those papers. He put them in that perforated file. Okay, and brought it for me. What my uncle said to me is that I brought you this file with these papers because you're going to need it to solve mathematics. Okay, in case you need solving mathematics. That was what my uncle brought for me. And my mom was looking at me because I did not want to, send the wrong message. I collected the file, and he greeted and left. So I collected the file and went inside. And that was it. So moving on, my mom told him that we've registered the WAEC and everything. So he asked my mom where I registered for WAEC, where they registered me. My mom told him that because of the centers here were full, they had to send me over to Rumuji. So my uncle took that information and left and asked my mom. Maybe they've discussed everything before I came out. So what happened? After I left for school for my WAEC, you guys, I was in school at Rumuji. I was in the school. One day the security sent for me. The security at the gate sent for me that I have a visitor. I'm like, who is coming to visit me? Who is coming to visit me? So when I got to the security post, lo and behold, it was my uncle. My uncle is married with children. It was my uncle. He drove all the way to Rumuji to come and look for me in the school. When I got there, guess what? He came with coconuts. You guys, what I'm telling you, what I'm sharing is my story. It happened to me. My uncle came with coconuts to come and visit me and then told me that he wants to take me out, that there is a hotel around that he wanted to take me out to. I was not up to 18 years. Even though I was up to, even if I am up to 18 years, my uncle said I should follow him. I told him I go nowhere. That was where I was able to reject his coconut. I told the security, please, I am not expecting any visitor. Please, anytime you see this man or any other person coming here to look for me, if they are not my parents, the security told me, he said he's your father. I told the security, he is not my father. Please, don't call me for anything like this. Please, I know my mother will not come. I know my father will not come. So please, I am not expecting any other person. So I left. So you can imagine, it wasn't as painful as. So I went back to school, and then I continued writing my WAEC and everything. I had papers, I had to write. But that was when the pain of unforgiveness towards this man started. And it did not even end there. After I finished writing my WAEC, I came back. The period you're waiting for WAEC results to come out, you have to be doing something, right? Then I decided to get a job, all these sales girls job, So I was working somewhere. And then one morning, I went to work. I think I was cleaning. And then my uncle passed. And he shouted my name. and called her to me and was like, this person is my sister. Oh. I did not answer him. I went inside. He was saying, this person is my sister. Oh. This person is my sister. He was just talking. I was not talking to him. Who he was talking to, I don't even know. So it continued, and that was it. I, you know, I moved on with my life, and glory be to God. I wrote my WAEC. When my WAEC came out, I made my WAEC, you guys. Like, I made my WAEC. The challenges I faced then, I did not go for any classes and everything. I did not go for classes to prepare myself for WAEC. During the WAEC, during each paper, you people know, if you wrote WAEC in Nigeria, especially if it's not this type of schools now that we put our children, whenever you finish each paper, you submit it with money. And that was one of the limitations I faced, because I had no money to pay those invigilators to submit my paper. Sometimes they would take my paper and they will struggle to take my paper after they have collected from everybody. I'll be begging. They will say, you can bring money. I'm like, I don't have money. So it was always a struggle. So sometimes I felt like they will not add my paper. They will take it and keep it aside, and they will tell me that they're going to tear my script. They're going to tear my answer sheet and all of that. But I will submit it and leave it in the hands of God. But to God be the glory. When my WAEC came out, when my WAEC result came out, I made all my papers. I did not get F9 like I was scared. I made my maths, my English, everything. I got straight C's. God is a good God. So I made my WAEC. So all of these things, I moved on my life and all of that. And fast forward to when, I gained admission, my life was, God was helping me. And then it was time for me to get married. I didn't know that my parents went to invite him. Remember that these things that happened, I did not share with my parents. So the pain, I noticed that whenever I remember this man, whenever they talk about him, I noticed that I was dealing with a lot of pain. I was dealing with a lot of pain that I could not share. So on my wedding day, I didn't know that my parents had gone to invite him. So while on my wedding reception, my mom came. I think my dad came and told me that my uncle is here. He wants to come and spray you money and leave. I'm like, and I told my father. At that point, I told my father, I don't want to see that man here. He should not enter this reception ground. He should not come here. My father was like, what is going on? What is the problem? I said, I don't want to see that man. In fact, my face changed, my mood changed, everything changed. I was already tired with the whole wedding thing, the whole wedding stress. I said, I don't want to see that man. My parents was like, calm down, don't create a scene. Whatever it is, we can talk about it later. Is it because he disappointed you? Because I think that's where their mindset was, that he did not give you money for WAEC and all of that. So they brought him in, and he came and was spraying money closely, and I was telling him, don't spray me that your money. I was shaking my body. I was like, don't I was kind of dancing, and don't spray me that your money. So he finished spraying and he left. So there was nothing I could do at that point. People were everywhere. His wife also came with him. So, but when my mom died, I was able to open up and blast my uncle. When my mom died, we traveled to the village. On the day of her burial, he came to come and tell me sorry. I was mad. I was furious. I was angry. Every emotion you can think of. Already, I'm at this place where I am so emotional, where I was, I was not in the best place. Of course, I've lost my mom. I was in a very confused state and everything. And this man came and he was like, sorry, your mom, this one, that one, that one, that one. Oh my goodness. There and there, I was mad. I was like, I told him everything, how it was in my heart. I busted and I was talking, and my siblings were listening. Okay, before my mom died, I already told my mom. My mom was like, "Why didn't you say this? Why did you not say this?" I think when she came for Mugo in my house, when she was nursing, when I had my baby, and we were very close then, so we're discussing so many things, life, how I am here now. So we're just talking about life, and I brought it up, and I was crying, and my mom was broken. She said, "You should have, if it was that she sold her wrapper to register me that WAEC, that if she had known, she would have sold the wrapper long ago. I wouldn't have gone through that stress. Why didn't I tell her? They wouldn't have invited him for my wedding. Why didn't I tell her? She would have walked him out when he came that time." So all of these things. So I expressed myself. I poured out myself with so much tears. People in the room were like, "I should calm down. I should calm down. I should calm down." They're telling me, "Mommy, calm down," because in my family, they call me Mommy. "Calm down, Mommy, calm down. Take it easy. Don't, I was already in this place. I had a newborn baby I traveled with. I was bleeding." So you can imagine the emotions I had. I didn't know what to do. And it happened. I said everything I said, and he just left. He did not say sorry. I think out of shame, he left. And that was it. Till now, I've never set my eyes on my uncle. But that was the first time I told him, his sin to his face. And I did not heal at that point. I carried this pain. Whenever I remember this, my uncle, I have this pain. I'm like, I will never forgive him. I will never let go of this thing. Even though he did not give me money. It is not about him not giving me money. It was he wanted to take advantage of me. I was never expecting such from him. So this anger, this unforgiveness, this resentment was within me for years. And one day I was praying. I think I was praying, I was fasting for a particular, I was fasting that period. So that period, when I was, doing my mercy prayer and asking God for mercy and everything, this my uncle's face appeared. And I knew for me to break free, I needed to forgive my uncle. I needed to free him from the prison of my heart. I needed to move forward and thank God for how far He has brought me. I needed to, see that God did not want man to be glorified in my life. Oh, I needed to see that with God all things are possible. When men reject you, that, the Bible says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, with all thy soul, with all thy might, and lean not unto thy own understanding. It says, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he only will direct your paths. And I begin to see how far God brought me. Even though I registered late entry, I still made my WAEC. I did not have to sit for WAEC twice because of all the delays I had to go through. I saw how far God has brought me. I saw that, even though I felt like I lost in time, but God has, made everything beautiful in my life in His time. And I decided to let go. And I told God that day, I forgive my uncle. I relieve him from my heart. Father, grant me grace. Let this pain be turned to a testimony. And that day, I felt light like never before. So I'm sharing this story. Why am I sharing this story? I don't know what is happening that my uncle, if he's alive or dead or whatever, but I wish him well wherever he is, and I pray for him that God will also show him mercy, right? But what am I sharing? Why was I led to share this? I'm sharing it in case for anyone who has been hurt. You have gone through a particular hurt or anything that has, you have kept, you have, imprisoned anybody. It can be anybody. It can be your parents. It can be your siblings. It can be your uncles. It can be your aunties. It is important. Forgiving somebody doesn't mean that you're doing that person good. Forgiving somebody does good to you than the person, right? It puts you in a place of free spirit, So whenever I talk about this story, I'm sharing it now, but I don't feel that pain anymore because I have what? Forgiven. And it gives me access to, talk to God without that guilt of that I am holding a grudge or I'm holding somebody captive or in bondage within my heart. So it's important that we learn to forgive no matter the hurt you're going through. I pray that God will reveal himself to you by revelation and you will see and you'll be free from that hurt. Because honestly, it's not easy dealing with that particular hurt. Hurt from family, from trusted people can be very, very, very painful. But, Jesus says, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. So I'm just here to share the story and to encourage you in case you're holding anybody captive, in case anyone has hurt you in the past. It is time to let go. It is time to move forward. See, your future is so bright and beautiful, and nothing from your past should be able to dent it. Okay, so move forward past those hurts, move forward past those pains and say no to the pain, but look beyond it. Look past my sins, my guilt, my shame, and pour your love. You look beyond me, oh. You look beyond me, oh. Looked past my sin, my guilt, my shame, and poured your love. You look beyond me, oh. You look beyond me, oh. Oh, I'm the one that you have shown mercy. You have shown me mercy. You have shown me mercy. God is showing you mercy today. And this is a wake-up call for as many that is still harboring hurt in their hearts. The Spirit of God is saying to you, let go. Let me take that pain. Let me take that pain and turn it into testimony. Let me take that pain and paint a beautiful picture from it. Trust me, God is still in the process of healing that pain, and He will heal you. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. What have you learned from this video? I would seriously love to hear from you. If you have anyone that is going through hurt, that you feel like needs to hear this message, please share it, okay? Subscribe to my channel, click on the like button, and I will see you in my very, very another one, okay? Until then, please remember that better is not good enough. The best is always yet to come. Until then, so long, guys. Mwah.